Okay, I suppose I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hello. Hello, hello. I'm going to go ahead and continue what I was working on yesterday. And we're all going to hope and pray that the connection doesn't crap out again like it did yesterday. I have no idea what was going on with the connection, but it seems like I lost connection twice. And so the stream ended up being split into 3 different half-hour-ish streams. I don't know. But hopefully that's not going to happen today. What is going to happen, though, is I'm going to continue working on this lovely lad right here. It looks like in some cases I got a little too heavy-handed with the Nuln oil. And so, as you can see, you know, underneath his neck and in some other places, the Nuln oil went on pretty dark. So, not really sure how I'm going to fix that, but I can't leave it looking like that. That's kind of embarrassing. So, I'm going to continue working on him. I'm probably going to try and bring his color palette back up a little bit. Probably mix some more brown in with the skin tone so that it does create more of kind of like a pallid highlight. And that way, he just ends up looking generally better than he does now. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing for this stream. Also, actually pretty darn happy with how the pants turned out. I might, oh no, am I losing it already? Because I've lost captions, that's not good. What's going on here? Camera is on, that is on, that's, don't really need that on, but that's fine, I suppose. That's not on. I don't know, Discord is good, yep, all of it seems to be working fine, except I have lost captions. Hopefully this doesn't mean that I am losing, connection. If it does, I'll have to figure it out. Regardless, I think I might go ahead and hit it with a dry brush. I'm not exactly sure, but I want it to have a little more highlight, I want it to have a little more pop. So, that is probably where I'm going next. First, let's get some paints out. Gonna use a lot of the same ones I used yesterday. I've got this brown rose, which I was using for the flesh tone. What is this? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm gonna go ahead and mix that in with some of this charred brown, and potentially some of this black, depending on where I need it. So hopefully all of these colors end up working out okay together. Obviously I gotta do a little bit of mixing, and hopefully that will all allow this paint to kind of soften up a little bit and become creamier, so it's not just paint medium, which is always bloody miserable to deal with, but we shall see. Okay, mix that up nice and good. Okay, it looks like the captions came back? I don't know. That's been one of the biggest problems between yesterday and today, was just the absolute lack. I can go right there. The absolute lack of stability with the connection. So I'm not really sure what to say here regarding that. But hopefully it manages to maintain a stable connection, and I don't have a problem with it like I did yesterday. So let's go ahead and get some of this paint on the palette, and I can start working in some of the shadows. Because like I said, my biggest problem right now is that he's got some really awkward spots all over his face and on his skin that are definitely creating some problems here. Get a little bit of black mixed in with that. Clean that off. Get a little bit of this rose mixed in with there. And it's creating kind of this ugly gray, purplish gray blob, which is actually exactly what I want. So I can start going back in here, and I'll probably mix it in a little darker to try and emulate that. Because unfortunately, like I said, my biggest problem right now is that that's just a hideous mark on him, and it doesn't really look that great. Mix some more of that brown rose in. And this is where my lack of knowledge with Vallejo paint pigments go, because you would figure that like a brown rose would go really well with an actual brown, but instead what seems to be happening is that it's kind of reacting very negatively and creating a very pasty pale white, but that's my lack of understanding of color theory. So we're just going to go ahead and work our way out and get some of this color back across like his chest and other fleshy bits. And hopefully this highlight will work on like a presentation level. Yeah, that looks pretty okay. Hey, good evening, Red. How's it going? Right now, I'm trying to salvage some of the mess that was caused by me being very heavy-handed with the wash, because he's got these very strange, very dark marks all over his body. Just caused by having way too much of the wash on there. So I'm trying to go back and see what I can do about making some of the flesh have a slightly better, less kind of immediately dark pallor to it. And then once I do that, I'm probably going to go back and see what I can do about fixing his pants a little bit, because they ended up being very dark, which actually looks okay, but I'd like for this model to have a little bit more going on in terms of highlights, so that he's more visually interesting on the tabletop. Because from what I understand, the client is very much into smaller squad-based games, like Necromunda, and so I want to make sure that all of his guys, all of his models still look really good. So we're gonna hit some of the spots on his face where I feel like there'd be a little bit more light to show, including that eyelid. Just hit that eyelid a little bit. Oh no, it's out of focus. So I changed the camera setup a little bit because I was having a hard time basically doing anything with how I had set up yesterday. And now I've got to get used to the new focusing issues that are obviously going to start appearing. But shouldn't be too bad. It'll just take a little bit of finagling and a little bit of adjusting to deal with. Now, I guess the other hope with him, I had to do an update for Twitch on the PS4, now I have to scan a QR code every time I watch, and I have to use my phone to send messages. That sounds bloody awful. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what's going on with the consoles and how they're doing authentication, but I'm kind of happy I got out of that rat race. The PlayStation 4 was the last video game console I bought. No, I take that back. I bought a Switch. And to be honest, I don't feel like I'm missing out on much. Though a lot of that also is just that I don't have time to play video games anymore. Between the painting and the trying to play Warhammer, it's just kind of stopped being one of the things I do. For better or for worse. So, missing out on, like, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, or whatever they're calling it, hasn't really felt like I've missed out on much. Which, to be honest, is kind of a relief, because I spent so long kind of chasing that high of having the newest console. Same with, like, having the newest phone. That was a big thing for me for a while, because I wanted to have the most powerful phone, thinking that it would, be a huge deal, and it would help me do things that I otherwise wouldn't be able to do. And that ended up being a friggin' lie. So I gotta say, I'm pretty happy that I've moved away from that kind of chasing of the trends with technology. His head has some very weird skin discoloration, and I kind of dig it so much. Okay, that hopefully makes all of that nice and bright enough. It drains my battery on the phone. Yeah, that also sucks. Like, I don't know. That's another problem that I've had with phones, is they start having so many things on them that, and using them, that just the battery doesn't last like it should. Though I understand why. They kind of don't want to put a larger lithium-ion battery in there, I guess. But that's going beyond my area of expertise. So I figure that some competent people crunched the numbers and did the research and found that whatever they have right now is probably the best suggestion or the best option they could get. Though to be honest, a lot of the times when I'm doing things that are battery intensive, I just plug it into a charger. I don't know if that's a possibility for you, but like right now I'm using my phone as my web camera because it has a half decent one, and I'm just kind of I've got it plugged in. Corpse Storage, is that a sentient space potato with glasses? Kind of. He's a little froggo, but he is definitely very space potato-y, which I'm pretty okay with. I wanted him to be very round and spud-like, so I guess I succeeded. Better than carrying a car battery when they first came out. Yeah, I know, right? When they used to have a satchel to make sure that you could actually power the dang thing. So no, he's my little avatar, my little Vipo dude. Is supposed to be a frog, but with the coloring I gave him, because I basically just took the coloring off of a Torgarodon model, he definitely has very potato-y appearance, and I think it's pretty fantastic. My little tater dude. Let's see, can I mix that together? I think I can mix together. So I went pretty heavy-handed with the wash last time, and now I'm just trying to do some highlights on the skin to kind of lessen the impact of the wash and how they... Yeah, he's a tater top. And how they kind of go a little bit too hard. You know what I mean? Because he's gone from having kind of fleshy skin to having very... He looks like he rolled around in motor oil, which in some ways is pretty okay. But in others isn't quite the look I'm going for. I want his skin to look kind of diseased and chaosified. I don't want him to look like he was hit with all of the holy unguents that the Adeptus Mechanicus had. But he definitely has a pretty good look going on, so I ain't too mad at that. And then after him, I'm going to get to work on a really cool Escher gang leader that I'm very excited to start doing stuff too, with the paint. Originally, they've got her with like a yellowish color scheme, and I'm not sure that's the way I want to go. So it's something I suppose I'll have to figure out as I play around with the model and see what I can do with it. Right now, just going to keep adding some shading to this behemoth. Because clearly, I went way too dark with